Okay, do a video. Family's gone for a minute, so it gives me opportunity to record. Let's see, I think this is better lighting here. Show you what I got going on. Okay. So, love Brambros, did I say it right? Brambos stuff. I'm gonna say bros, but I think it's Brambos stuff. I've talked about it before. The Fluss app or whatever has some cool stuff in there for that granular vibe going on. So you can see I'm using that. Doesn't really matter the sound. The technique is what I'm about to show you that I think is really nice. So here's the EOS 2 reverb. Doesn't really matter about that. This guy is what the target is. My biggest thing I've been trying to figure out or wanting to do that I struggle with the most in a lot of the iOS stuff is this is the only app that I know of that allows you to drag, like you could drag into or out of and put it into, other things. In other words, I can make a audio clip, and then I can take that audio clip and just drag it straight into something and drop it in. You can do stuff like with Koala where you can drag it into Koala, but dragging out of Koala is not there yet. And I hope they add it because it would really, I like to use Koala the most. That's my favorite app. I'd rather use that over almost anything, but that feature is huge for me because when you're recording in something like, especially on the iPad mini because it's so small and you're recording in something like Logic, I want to be able to just make a recording off of something and drop it in. And the reason is because like this app here, Fluss or whatever, it'll just keep going. There's no end to it. You can sync it to the host and have it trigger to stop, but it just like sometimes it'll just run so much in the background I can't even stop it. I'm sitting there fighting it, trying to do it. I have to turn it off or whatever from here, and it just gets to be a little bit annoying. But I love that app still nonetheless. So having Neon, and I've had it for a while and I've used it many times, allows me to record directly in. You can put it on your effects, and then you can take what they call the the clipboard. I'm sorry. Touch the clipboard after you created the loop or whatever you want, and then drag it straight to the timeline to an audio track. Or if you want to create a loop and then chop it up, you can do that and then chop it up because they have the ability to slice. It's hard to see because I'm on the iPad mini, but on the slice, you have the thresholds, the regions, the manual, etc. If you put it on I think it's the thresholds, you can play it off the keyboard or a keyboard. I don't like using the keyboard on here much, but I'll use it occasionally for something quick if I'm out and about and I just want to do it. I prefer to have a MIDI controller just because I need as much space on this little bitty tablet as I can get. And unfortunately, there's just not a lot of space to work with, which makes this app a bit cluttered. Even when I had the 12-inch, it was the same thing. It was a bit cluttered. It's too much going on. And so you almost have to, you're kind of forced to turn it this direction. And then you lose a bit of this side. And it's like a no-win situation unless you go out and basically, and this thing is, what is this? I wonder if it's sitting weird. Unless you go out and buy the bigger iPad, which is why I kind of don't always I tell people I love the mini, but I don't always recommend people get the mini. If you really want to be serious about the iPad type work, you do better to get something like the 11 or the 12.9 if you can afford it, the Pro. Just because with this type of stuff where there's a lot of stuff that glitches, it can get pretty frustrating. So let's talk about this. So I recorded in this program. One of the things that's cool is, let's say here's a loop that's 16, but let's say it wasn't 16. It doesn't. This is how you record it, right? It just records directly in. If you hold down loop, it'll loop it automatically to the grid right there. And you see the grid's off. If you want to have the grid on, you turn it on whatever division you want, and you can move it based on those divisions. There's other stuff in here that gets overlooked. They have warp. You don't really need warp necessarily in Logic because it has a stretch feature, which is kind of the same thing of warping something. Though that can do probably a few, I won't even say it could do better because you could do the same thing in here. It's not really that better. But anyway, so you have the ability to slice if you want to do that. What else? So I'm going to go out of that. So this just opens up an opportunity to have, you can even save stuff in here if you want. I don't feel like I need to save it if I save it here. Although this is a weird name. Like, I don't know what that name, I guess that's a, I was going to say that's a date. That's not even a date. Let's just do this loop. So you better make sure you name your files or you're going to be like confused as I am looking at that thing. Really? We can't just name it? Edit? Show in division. That's weird. Oh, you know what? You could do name regions by track. So if you do that, yeah, it'll name it. I was about to say, that's just, I'm so used to Ableton, I think, because Ableton, you could just touch the loop and you could have the loop name something different from the track if you wanted to. And I think you can do it in Logic, but for sure, I don't see a way to do it here. So it is what it is. All right. So I'm going to turn it back this way because I find this way to be better for viewing the track. So, you know, you can pinch and move stuff around. That's a really great feature. If I turn that off, you can still hear it going in there. So I have to just put it on mute. But now you take that and then you add some drums. Now, my favorite way to do drums in here, as of right now, this video recording, is just to drag a sample in and put it into a one-shot or quick sampler. Because the thing about the quick sampler, which is cool, is on the front you get a tune and a volume. So that's great enough to where you could just go in and do your quick adjustments. But then if you want to go into it and you want to fade a sample, you can fade the sample. A little maybe at the end just so you don't get any clipping or whatever you want to do. You have the pitch, the filter, etc., etc. One thing I always forget to do with these, and I got to try to remember to make myself do it, is put them on a one shot. I might have done it, but I can't remember. Yeah, see, that one's on classic. Should be a one shot because these are my drums. Hats. Let's see what I did on that one. Yeah, that one's on one shot. Okay, cool. So you could adjust the sample there. So that's kind of a quick, I mean, it's obviously quick sampler. So that's kind of cool. And I think it's easier to do it like that with one shots. I would do it like that sometimes too in Drumbo. Because Drumbo has like a one shot sampler. So it's kind of a good vibe if you want to just get your drums done quick. You can use their other stuff, like the pattern mode, if you want to do stuff to ratchet the hats. I just personally rather just drum it in. But it depends on the song I'm working on too, so. And then, of course, you can set up a bus if you want to do that. But to me, if I'm going to go on a per track basis here, I might as well just go into it and find plugins that knock, put knock on the stuff I want. So like here, this is the kick. I just want the kick to have a little punch, mostly that clipping, good stuff. Put that in, maybe a little of that, a little bit of sub, just a little. And you won't be able to tell the difference until I go out of my way to hook it up through some speakers or something where you can hear it a little bit better. So I'll look for my speaker there, and I don't have any plug in some speakers so you can hear it. I'm gonna have to go around this other side over here. Turn this other speaker on. At least so you can hear it in reference to. Now you can make your adjustments a little bit better. A little more punch. Maybe not that much. I like that. I'll leave it there. Sometimes with the hats, I like to use pan stations, so I've shown you all this before. Select basic pan, yeah. bit. There you go. Adjust your volumes. Little ambient. I put some swing on this too. So if you want to do that, go into your quantization here and then adjust it for each one. So then we'll take that off. Turn the hats up a little bit. When I get my audio interface, which is, I think Monday I get it, I'm gonna take this click off too. Then it'll be a lot better for the sound. I think it'll be able to hear it a little bit crispier, hopefully. So this is fun. This is my thing, like a little ambient, kind of with a little extra hip hop beat to it. Just kind of give it a little more push. Then I could build over that. And that's really just a simple, I didn't even play chords. I'm just using Fluss to create that background ambient vibe. And then I could go in and add a track in if I wanted to, like maybe another instrument track. Figure out what instrument I want to use by replacing that on iOS. So I like Decent Sampler is really good for some free stuff, that is. If I go instruments in here, I need a bass right now is what I really need. So I am going to use the which one? The multi-sample. And then I'll go to this, not this, and I'll find, I think it's under my favorites. I have most of my, not my favorites, go back, my patches. And I can find Petrucci R&B, which is what I like to use. And my fingers are so fat, I'm probably covering the screen, plus I'm not able to. This is the hard part about this small tablet. Oops, there we go. Drop it in there. You'll see it pop up here for the track. I'm gonna put that up there. So now we got our volume. So then you gotta close out a lot on these small stuff so you can use this. Right? And what I like to do when I have a sample like that where I didn't put it in any particular key necessarily is I just listen for which notes fit the song. And to me, so far, that's the notes that fit the song, which help me know which key I should be in. Okay, so then I might play that. So let's just play that to this track. Okay, I like that. That's cool. So I could have played longer and kept going. It's really up to me, excuse me. My sinuses are really bothering me today. So yeah, and I'm not going to sit there and quantize that. But if I have a note, like I just heard a note that was bad, I will fix that note, that one note, by dragging it maybe like that. let's just see. I actually don't like it. So what I'm gonna do is just delete it. Go back to it. Yep, just take it out. There you go. All right, so I like that. That's cool. And I'll just take that. And then, see, I want to duplicate. I don't want to have to go into, like, just give me a button that has duplicate, the one I'm on, just better duplicate it to the next part. So I have to go in there, touch it, go in, press copy, then move the paste thing, then touch over here and go paste it physical. Now, I don't know why I did that, but paste it. Maybe I hit the wrong button. Let's get rid of this. Delete. So it's just a lot more work that unnecessarily, that I don't feel like is necessary on this. I mean, when you're on the iPad, I get it. Like maybe you want to have all these other little features and things, but make the initial work fluid. That's my only gripe. Just make it fluid so I'm not fighting it. And yeah, especially before you release it or you charge me, definitely do that. So anyway, here you go. Another quick tip is if you let's say you just made an instrument track and you want to make another, but you don't want to obviously make it with the same instrument, just double tap, it'll do it. Whatever the last instrument you put in, it's going to make another that type of track. In this case, a MIDI track, but we use it for instruments. So we'll click there. I wish I could take this off and not have this open every single time. Like just open blank. You don't need to have, I don't want to have to go in and hit that to replace it. You know, stuff like that slows down the workflow. Everything is workflow in this situation because sound-wise, you're going to have to adjust and listen. I don't personally like mixing on these speakers I have. These are the Kali 6.5s, something like. They're older ones. I think they're the Kali 6 or whatever, but they're older speakers, but they still work pretty good. I just use them for reference and when I don't feel like wearing headphones. But to be honest with you, you got to get a solid pair of headphones for mixing purposes. All right, where were we? So let's find something. We could do some audio modeling, which is like the best horns to me. Trumpet. So we'll put that in. Then we got to definitely put some EOS 2 in. We'll put some ambience. And you notice this thing never is, come on. It's a little glitchy sometimes with the. Now see, I personally would rather do this without having to touch this. See, we don't have the play stuff if you do this. So what you have to do is go in to here, expand it out. I think it is something like that. Nope. Where is the button to expand it? Oh, that's not it. I wish they would do like AUM and allow me to just loosen this off so I can get the full, because the iPad mini, you're very limited. Okay, so now if I turn it this way to work. So it's just, there's a button in this corner that says play, which gives you your vibrato depth, which is good. And then you can assign the pitch bend to. Now, if I go back this way, will I lose it? Yes, yeah, I lose it. That's what, it doesn't make any sense though. That it should stay. I have to literally play it the other way. So this is where having a keyboard comes into play. And particularly get you one with a good, I'm going to turn this on so you can see what I mean. You might not be able to see the whole keyboard, but it is what it is. Let me see if you can see where my fingers are. Yeah. All right. So make sure you have at least a pitch bend, and mod, either wheel or strip, whatever keyboard. There's some inexpensive ones that have it, so that you don't have to. If you're on the iPad Mini, particularly, this is important. So you can use the vibrato here and then the pitch bend here. All right. So then let's go here and open up this one. Devices, connect it. Now the problem with this keyboard is I'm going to try my best to put this here because you can't see. I can't. Maybe I could zoom out a little bit. Let me see if I zoom out a little bit. Pull this down just a little bit, and maybe you can still see. Can you still see that? Okay. So we're connected. Go back into here. So there's your vibrato. All right, so then you just really quickly learn what chords you're playing in or what key you're playing in. I just showed it really with the bass. So it cuts off here. So I'm going to play on this end of the keyboard. So then we play. All right. You can do MIDI capture. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. So I find MIDI capture, which I think is weird. I can't play the track and capture the MIDI. I have to like just capture the MIDI, so it's like, then it captures it. And I'm not saying that's terrible. I'm not saying it's not terrible either. But what I like to see, and maybe all MIDI cap, I don't remember because I feel like on Ableton, I can play the song while I can just hit the play button. You know, like hit the play. Okay, it does work. Cool. I was like tweaking on that. I was like, that don't make no sense. How would I know if I'm capturing the right thing? All right, cool. It worked. So that's a benefit. One less thing I got to complain about. All right, cool. So I was missing some notes. That's not a big deal because I'm going to just go back and play it again. I was more concerned with, does the MIDI capture work? So it does work when you play. So just hit play and then start playing what you want to do. And then just hit MIDI capture and it'll capture it. So let's do that. Okay, cool. Then hit MIDI capture. All right, edit. You miss a note, you want to put a note in, just plug one in. I played that one first. Draw, pencil. I'm going to play this note right here. So let's see how that sounds. Needs to hold the note a little longer. I hate that I can't. All right, I have to come off a pencil to trim. Okay, that's what it is. All right, cool. I'm gonna stretch it out that way. That's cool. Nice. One of the things too I don't like, and I'm very picky about stuff, but it's okay because, it's, you know, that's just what I do. But what I want to edit, just say one note, the velocity in that note. I do not want to have to come over here and do this every time. I got to go into here. Oops, let me go into the right one. Edit, go into the show thing. Then let's say like that one note I want to do. Then I have to pull up the information menu. Then I got to find that note, change the velocity. So I want it a little bit lower. Nice. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I understand you got to find somewhere to put it, but make something where it can work on the actual note. In other words, if I go in here, I can draw the note out longer. So make it where it's a button where I can change the velocity if I want to do it quick, or put a thing down here, a little row where you can just adjust the velocities. Helium does that. There's a bunch of other ones that have it that way, where you can maybe hit a button and then the velocity, all the velocities for each note is here. I think beatmaker 3 does it. Just put that down there. I don't want to have to go menu hunting for a velocity change. That's insane. It should be something quick. It breaks the vibe when you have to go in and do that every time. So that's just my thought on that. There you have it. I think this is a good enough video. I just wanted to show you this. The real purpose of this video was to show you this, really. Well, nothing blank, but show you this neon. Because that's something that, to me, in this workflow, because I like to work with audio and some plugins I need to see the waveform to be able to do it. This is going to be my way until something better comes along, because otherwise I'm going to want to use Koala, and I need, I do like to use Koala because of the note repeat. I like it for other reasons. I think the audio editing is much easier. It's definitely easier than this, but the one thing about this is this will give me something quick where I can record in pretty fast on some audio. That's it. That's all I got. I don't want to do all the routing and stuff. That's the reason why I'm using this too, because you got to route. It's a process to sit there and route stuff, and I just don't feel like doing all that when I just want to record a simple loop. All right, I'm out. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully it helped you. Leave questions and comments and everything down below, and I'll do my best to answer if I know it. Right? If I don't, I'll direct you somewhere else. All right, I'm out.